It's time to don your Mjolnir Mark IV armor because the Master Chief is back, fully back, and the world is happy to see him in such rare form. And if you're watching this video wondering if you should run out and get an Xbox Series X, if indeed you can find one, and buy Halo Infinite today, the answer is a resounding yes. This is the best entry in the series since 343 Studios took over from Bungie some years ago. But what makes Halo, and more specifically Halo Infinite, such a transcendent experience? Is it the variety of weapons? Is it the pantheon of vehicles, both UNSC and Covenant, which can change the tide of battle when used effectively? Is it the engaging exposition and memorable cast of characters, both old and new? Or is it, quite simply, Cortana's perky blue holographic personality? Like John 1:17 himself, Halo Infinite is a collection of technically proficient parts that, together, are somehow more than just a machine. The game is defined by its high level of polish, its endlessly amusing sandbox gameplay, its new open world design, and its unique ability to make you feel proud to be human. Unsurprisingly, Halo Infinite takes place on a new Halo ring in the aftermath of Cortana's reign of terror in Halo 5 Guardians. What is brand new to the franchise, however, is an open-world map that allows you to choose the order in which you advance the story or pursue side missions. These take the form of assassinations on key Pariah targets or efforts to reclaim Pariah-controlled military bases for the UNSC. As you complete these secondary objectives, you earn bravery points, which unlock vehicles and weapons you can spawn at will at any of your ever-expanding collection of captured locales. The ability to go where you want, when you want, is a perfect fit with the Halo franchise's sandbox shooter mechanics, which has always given players the impression that anything is possible. And although you can fast travel between your reclaimed bases, it's always also possible to hop in a Warthog to get to your next target. This is a big innovation that will no doubt return in future entries in the Halo saga. You can prepare to capture an enemy stronghold by getting there in an M808 Scorpion, for example. In some cases, vehicles seem to have been left unattended, waiting to create epic set pieces of satisfying combat. In others, you feel like you're being a bit cheeky, bringing a tank to a knife fight, so to speak. Either way, the gameplay is extremely precise and rewarding. It feels like you're at the commands of a well-honed machine, and both of you need to work at maximum capacity to complete the mission. The story, while sufficiently engaging, feels a bit like just another Wednesday for the Master Chief. After he's defeated by Atriox, who, in turn, is apparently killed by a repentant Cortana, sacrificing herself in the process, Master Chief finds himself on a damaged Halo ring in the company of a new AI that looks and sounds just like Cortana, but is called the Weapon. Together with Echo 216, a mechanic-turned-pilot, they must combat Atriox's successor, Escharum, and his ally, the Augur, a precursor Prime, who's technically the creator of humanity. Okay, no problem. There are some memorable boss fights along the way, notably two with Adjutant Spark, who is an homage to 343 Guilty Spark, to which 343 Industries owes its name. Most of the time, though, you'll just be mowing down an endless supply of Pariah forces. Fortunately, the core game mechanics are so tuned and honed for pure enjoyment, it would be impossible to find combat tiresome. Despite the open world ethos in the majority of the game, its last several hours take place indoors, leading to fights with Escharum, and subsequently with the Augur in, where else, the Silent Auditorium. This feels like a classic Halo progression that eschews the new advancements of Infinite. It definitely works, but it's a bit disappointing that the game doesn't double down on large-scale open-world combat, and instead returns to linear maps in its concluding chapters. No Halo game would be complete, of course, without the robust multiplayer offerings which made the early entries in the series a veritable social phenomenon. Infinite's multiplayer will not disappoint and deserves its own video, which I will make at some point in the near future. The entire experience is stylish and streamlined, except for when the servers were seemingly completely inaccessible over Christmas. But that's life. As with any Halo title, the multiplayer is the real meat of the experience. The single-player campaign is just a beautiful rite of passage for newly minted Spartans. The bottom line is that Halo Infinite is the best Halo game in years, and arguably since Halo 3. It is certainly the first time that 343 Industries has managed to rival the playability and enjoyment of the original trilogy. The experience feels almost flawless and is a privilege to play. It is worth any amount of hassle to track down a Series X in order to play with the best possible fidelity, meaning a silky smooth, never wavering 60 frames per second at a 4K resolution. Halo Infinite is certainly a contender for the best game of 2021, if not the contender, so flex your Game Pass, download a Spartan, and finish the fight.